They blocked my driveway with traffic cones over a bogus $79 fine. Smirking as the fake security guard said, "What's he gonna do? Call the cops." Little did they know, I am the cops, the newly promoted chief. This HOA tyrant and her wannabe enforcer had no idea they'd targeted a 20-year veteran ready to dismantle their scam. The confrontation happened on a crisp autumn evening in Willow Creek subdivision ***, the kind of quiet, tree-lined neighborhood in Brookfield Township where families moved for peace and good schools, not for petty power plays. I just pulled up after a grueling 14-hour shift, my unmarked sedan still humming from the drive, when I saw the orange cones barricading my own garage. There stood Tyler Grimes, a lanky 25-year-old in an ill-fitting security uniform that looked like it came from a discount Halloween store, his fake badge catching the fading sunlight. Behind him, Karen Blackwell, the self-appointed HOA queen, clutched her clipboard like a shield, her silver Mercedes SUV parked crookedly on the curb as if she owned the street. "What's this about?" I asked, keeping my voice even, though exhaustion clawed at me. Tyler puffed up his chest, his voice nasal and overconfident. "Enforcement protocols, sir. You've got outstanding fines disrupting community harmony." Karen nodded vigorously, her crisp blazer rustling like dry leaves in the wind. The audacity hit me like a slap. Here I was, chief of police, dealing with pretend authority figures on my own property. But I stayed silent, smiling politely, my real badge tucked in my jacket. Little did they know, this was the start of their downfall. I'm Ethan Caldwell, and law enforcement has been my life for 20 years. I started as a rookie patrol officer in the bustling streets of downtown Brookfield, pounding pavement through rain and snow, handling everything from domestic disputes to traffic stops. Over time, I climbed the ranks, detective in narcotics, where I busted rings that flooded the suburbs with poison, then lieutenant overseeing major crimes. 6 months ago, I got the call. Promoted to chief of Brookfield Township Police Department. It's a solid outfit in a mostly serene suburb, where the biggest headaches are usually rowdy teens vandalizing park benches or the occasional shoplifter at the local mall. But the job demands everything. 60, 70-hour weeks, always on call, driving unmarked cars, dressed in civilian clothes for undercover ops or emergency responses. Neighbors in Willow Creek had no clue about my profession. They saw a single dad with odd hours, assuming I was in corporate sales or consulting, always rushing out at dawn with a thermos of black coffee that tasted like burnt rubber. I moved here 2 years ago after my wife, Emily, lost her battle with cancer. The diagnosis came like a thief in the night, stage 4. Aggressive, gone in 8 months despite the chemo and prayers. Lily, our 16-year-old daughter, was devastated. She needed stability, a place where she could grieve without the chaos of city life. Willow Creek seemed perfect. Modest 2-story homes with manicured lawns, the scent of fresh mulch in spring, sprinklers hissing at dawn, kids biking freely on sidewalks. It was normal, healing, until Karen Blackwell turned it into her personal kingdom. Karen was every HOA horror story rolled into one, a 50-something real estate agent with a predatory smile, driving that gleaming silver Mercedes with vanity plates reading "Topact." She'd been board president for 8 years, treating the subdivision like her empire, armed with a ruler for measuring grass heights and a clipboard for issuing edicts. She'd show up unannounced if your trash bin lingered 31 minutes past pickup instead of 30. Her blazers were always starched to perfection, crinkling with every dramatic gesture, and she waved her arms like a conductor leading an orchestra of complaints. By day, she sold overpriced homes. By night, she enforced standards that kept the neighborhood looking like a magazine spread, sterile, uniform, soulless. The trouble started 3 months back with a simple driveway repair. A pothole had formed from winter freezes, a hazard waiting to trip someone or damage a tire. With my insane schedule, I hired a licensed contractor, got city permits, and they patched it with fresh asphalt. The new section was half a shade darker than the old concrete, barely noticeable unless you were hunting for flaws. But Karen didn't just notice, she pounced. A $79 fine landed in my mailbox for unauthorized driveway material, creating aesthetic violation. I could smell the ink on the notice, fresh and accusatory. I submitted receipts, Permits, photos proving it was a safety fix, not some cosmetic whim. Denied. Her response: non-conforming surface disrupts visual harmony. Visual harmony, from a woman whose own yard resembled a chaotic garden center explosion, with mismatched planters and gaudy ornaments. She somehow deemed exempt. I paid the fine. Look, I was knee-deep in a major vandalism investigation, graffiti taggers hitting local businesses, and Lily was navigating a tough semester at school, dealing with grief counseling and new friends. $79 was chump change compared to real battles. I called it crazy tax and moved on. But in my line of work, I've learned bullies sense weakness like sharks smell blood. Give an inch, they take a mile. Last month, after 3 straight nights on a stakeout that left me running on fumes, Lily forgot to pull the garbage bins back from the curb. They sat out maybe 30 minutes past pickup. Harmless, right? Wrong. Certified mail arrived, the envelope tearing with a sharp rip as I opened it after another marathon shift. Another fine, $150, doubled because I was now a repeat offender, plus a stern warning about enhanced enforcement measures for continued noncompliance. I stared at the letter in my wrinkled uniform, the absurdity washing over me like cold water. I just collared a burglar ring. Now this? Karen threatening me over trash cans like I was a public enemy. The escalation felt personal. But I didn't yet see the bigger picture, a web of fraud lurking beneath her petty tyranny. That Saturday morning at 7 a.m., as I savored my first real cup of coffee in days, the rich aroma cutting through the fog of fatigue, I heard voices outside. Peering through the window, I saw Karen striding up my driveway, measuring tape in hand, flanked by Tyler, the kid she'd hired as enforcement officer. Tyler lived with his mom down the block, exuding the kind of misplaced bravado that came from too many action movies and not enough real-world experience. His uniform was laughable, polyester pants, a badge that screamed novelty item, and an attitude that screamed overcompensation. I stepped out, steam rising from my mug. Karen launched in. Without a greeting, "Mr. Caldwell, compliance inspection. Your postal receptacle is 2 inches too close to the street boundary." She brandished the tape like evidence in a trial, pointing at my mailbox with surgical precision. Relocate within 48 hours or face a $300 fine. The morning dew glistened on the grass, the scent of wet earth mixing with distant bacon frying. Normal suburbia. Twisted by her nonsense. 2 inches. I replied, sipping my coffee, hot enough to jolt me awake. That mailbox has been there 5 years, installed by the previous owner. Karen snapped back. Recent bylaw amendments supersede grandfathered installations. Tyler nodded sagely, as if she'd quoted Holy Scripture. In detective training, we'd covered existing non-conforming use. If it was legal when built, you couldn't force changes without safety issues. I tested her. I'd like to review the grandfather clause in the covenants. Document everything properly. Her eye twitched, till I'd spotted in countless interrogations. I've managed this community for 8 years. I understand the regulations. Tyler chimed in. Sir, we have full legal authority to enforce standards. Full authority. From an online certification course? I asked about his training. His face reddened. Karen interjected. He's hired through proper channels with board approval. Proper channels, I echoed, filing it away. Then provide board minutes approving his position and his contract. Public records. Silence stretched, broken by a garbage truck's hydraulic whine. Rumbling past. Karen shifted, her blazer crinkling. You're creating problems where none exist. We're maintaining property values. I pressed. Show me the bylaw language before I move anything. Tyler opened his mouth, but she silenced him with a glare. Then I pulled my phone. Let me record this for documentation. Panic flashed. Karen S facade cracked. Unnecessary. You'll get the formal notice. Daily inspections until resolved. As they retreated, Tyler snapped photos, not just the mailbox, but my windows, car, house. The shutter clicks echoed like surveillance in a bad spy flick. I finished my lukewarm coffee, pondering why simple questions rattled them so much. Something rotten lurked beneath. 2 days later, pulling in after another endless shift, my phone rang. City Water Department querying a complaint about my sprinkler system violating drought rules. I don't have sprinklers, Just a hose for Lily S. herb garden. The clerk sounded baffled, closing the case, but someone had wasted public resources on a false report. Classic harassment. Morning brought Lily downstairs, eyes puffy. Dad, why are neighbors asking weird questions? Karen had canvassed barbecues, whispering about suspicious activity at our place. Unmarked cars, plain-clothed men meeting at odd hours. To them, it looked shady. To me, it was routine case briefings. Lily got sideways glances at the bus stop, kids murmuring. That crossed a line, my daughter hurt by rumors. I attended the Wednesday HOA meeting as an observer. Phone recording legally, a trick from a corruption case where a councilman took bribes. The community center reeked of stale coffee and carpet cleaner, fluorescent lights buzzing like interrogation rooms. Karen ran it like a dictatorship. Robert's rules for debating pool hours, but the treasurer's report caught my ear. Derek Blackwell, her husband, owed $12,000 in back assessments. Yet his name vanished from delinquents. Instead, they targeted piddly debts. Mrs. Ellis fined for wrong mulch color. The Thompsons for sidewalk chalk. Post-meeting, county records. Confirmed, Derek delinquent 18 months, no notices, while vulnerable residents got hammered. Single moms, elderly, minorities, selective enforcement screaming discrimination. The pattern was clear. As day, Karen's boldest move. A document demanding $500 special assessment per household for security upgrades due to my unique challenges. What do you think my work is? I asked. She leaned in conspiratorially. Unmarked vehicles, meetings at all hours, were not naive. While she ranted, Tyler snapped backyard pics through fence gaps. I signed the notice. Watching her victory grin, she thought she'd broken me. Instead, she'd handed evidence. Tyler escalated. Parked near Lily S. school, telephoto lens on teens. Sophia texted photos. I confronted. Security patrols of minors? He stammered. I recorded. His personal equipment for HOA protocols, pure gold for stalking charges. Weekend research unveiled the scam. HOA dissolved 3 years ago for unpaid fees. $37,000 collected illegally since. Pattern. Harass busy parents, minorities, elderly to pay or sell cheap. Karen buys low via realty. Brilliant fraud, except she picked me. Derek approached in a grocery lot, cigarette smoke curling. $2,000 cash makes problems vanish. I feigned interest, recording his bragging about 3-year. Scam targeting wrong demographics for community profile. Extortion, racism, jackpot. Tyler S. school stalking worsened. I videoed his defenses. County clerk confirmed dissolution. Every fine fraudulent. Victims, 23 families driven out. Counterattack, called Detective Rachel Brooks, financial crimes whiz. This is gold, she said. DA Laura Chun, precedent setting. Mrs. Ellis delivered dossiers, spreadsheets, letters, photos of discrimination. Lily S. friends documented stalking. Plan. Karen S. emergency meeting to oust me. Perfect for public. Arrests. Mrs. Ellis rallied victims. Warrants ready, plainclothes positioned. Karen robocalled threats, parked intimidators. I waved, photographed. Her call. We'll force you out. Recorded. Meeting, 60 packed. Karen S. slideshow accused illegal business. Demanded $8,000 or forced sale. I rose. Prove authority. Pulled badge. Chief Ethan Caldwell. Arrested for fraud. Cuffs clicked amid gasps. Rachel nabbed Tyler. Revealed dissolution. Crowd shared horrors. Chaos. Karen screamed setup. Residents cheered. Footage viral. Karen. 3 years prison, restitution. Tyler. Probation, school ban. $47,000 recovered for 28 victims. Willow Creek transformed. Mrs. Ellis president. No fines. Gardens bloomed. Parties thrived. State fraud program launched. Scholarships from stolen funds. Cones became planters with sunflowers. But was the public trap fair play or excessive, justice served, or power abused? Share HOA tales. Ethical lines in community conflicts? Comment, debate, subscribe.